Ready?
First of all, I want to thank you for the work that you have been doing. The teachers are what I call our superheroes. They are our COVID warriors. Teachers have been tirelessly working with the students, trying to arrest the learning losses that has happened from last 8 months. And I'm aware of teachers who had to learn the various social media tools so that you could reach out to your students. So I thank you for doing that. I also thank you for the various work that you have done for the Ministry of Health. There were teachers involved in the COVID contact tracing. They were involved in many other activities. So thank you for doing that. The other point that I want to raise is to do with the opening of schools. The students did come for a week, and after 1 week, because of Cyclone Cody, and immediately after that, the eruption that happened in Tonga had affected our air quality, and 2 of our islands, that is Lau and Moala, had some impact of the tsunami tidal waves, those big waves that hit 2 of our schools, and these 2 schools were flooded. So there is a team that has left for Moala and Lau this morning, and they will be conducting further tests, etc. And based on what they inform us, and of course the weather settling in, I'll be able to make a decision by tomorrow whether we're starting years 8 to years 13 from Monday next week. So that's what we're going to do. But as teachers, you understand better the importance of education and how education contributes to the nation development. We need a knowledge-based society, and we need to create different professions within our community so that each profession can contribute to the growth of our economy, to the growth of the nation, and to assist each one of us in our living. So that is how important education is. I would like to encourage teachers that please do not discourage students who show creativity in the class and they want to become a plumber, electrician, or a farmer. We should encourage them if that's what they want to be. Often we see in a classroom when a student is not doing very well in an academic way, teachers do feel frustrated because we want them to do well. But if a child's interest is in something else, then we should encourage that child to pursue that course. In other words, you need to inspire them. You need to encourage them. You know, if I tell you, often we hear when teachers get frustrated, they normally say to the child, what, you want to become a farmer? You want to become a carpenter? And my question is, what is wrong? Maybe he or she can become a commercial farmer. Or from a carpenter, he or she can become a builder and own a construction company and employ thousands of people. So we should not segregate a profession by saying, okay, this is a blue collar and this is a white collar. It gives a very negative connotation, and we should discourage doing that. Because for a society to function, we need different professionals to operate. And it is very important. And that takes us back to the school system. I also like to mention that every year the government invests around $700 million in education. It's not a small amount of money, $700 million every year. And that money goes towards teachers' salary, free education grant that we give out to the school management committee. We give around $60 million every year to the school management committee to manage the schools. And when we say manage the schools, it simply means that the school management committee and the head of schools can buy resources, they can buy computers, they can stock up the library with good library books, they can encourage the children to read those library books, tables and chairs, whatever is needed. And we also support schools by providing administrative staffs, and we pay administrative staff as well. The government funds normally go towards the school maintenance, the fans that you see, the wash facility that has been put together is through this funding. Now, previously, when the free education grant was not made available to the school, then the school management committee, along with the teachers, as well as the students, they had to do a lot of fundraising. Almost every 2 weeks there is bring and buy, mufti, you had to organize sports, Saturdays and Sundays were taken away, and a lot had to be done. Even the money collected was not sufficient. So we no longer do that because we want to focus more on the education, and that is educating our child and freeing our teachers to focus on the education. So we have stopped doing that. Also, major change that has come about, and we've seen this happening, where the teachers were absorbed as civil servants. Previously, we used to have two categories of teachers. One were civil servants, the others were grant-in-aids. Grant-in-aids, 20% was paid by the school management committee, and 80% of the salary came from the government. But no more now. You are a civil servant, and the salary is paid by MEHA. So that's what has changed over the years. But the investment we have made, what we want is the return on that investment. And that return is in the form of what comes out of the education system, and that is our children. And how our children can fit into our society, how they can fit into our workplace, how they can become innovators, how they can become creative thinkers, so that we can change the way we are doing things. And we need these group of students who can be, later on when they take up a career, they become movers and shakers, and they can add new dimension in how things are done. So that would be the return that we are after. Right. Now let me just touch on some of the legislation that guides a teacher. One most important legislation that purely guides a teacher is the Fiji Teachers Registration Act. How many of you have read the Act? Fiji Teachers Registration Act. Okay, none. How many of you know about Child Protection Act? Very good, because some trainings were given in that area. Am I right? All right. So you can see the very important legislation that guides your profession you're not aware of. And that's what creates confusion. If you read that legislation, it clearly states who is a teacher and how you can be a teacher or registered teacher. There are categories within the PG Teachers Registration Act as to how you can register to become a teacher. There is one category called limited authority to teach. Another category is called fully qualified, right? Limited authority to teach, that provision is used when there is a shortage of teacher and a teacher is needed. So there is a bit of a leeway where one will not consider your total qualification. So you are given yearly license to be in the classroom, but only up to 4 years. But within that 4 years, you have to prove that you are upgrading your qualification. Right, so that's limited authority to teach. Then the other category is fully qualified. Fully qualified teachers are those that have come out of Corpus Christi, they've come out of Latoka Teachers College, they've come out of all other institutions. You may have done your certificate, you may have done your diploma, but you are fully qualified. Why you are fully qualified? Because you've done your education, you've done your teacher training, you've done your practicum. However, we do have teachers who are graduates. They've got a degree, but they have not done education units, they have not done teacher training. Can we call them teacher? Are they teachers? As per the legislation, they are not. And these teachers need to undertake education units. They also need to do teacher training. It's a requirement. And we have been encouraging these teachers that you need to enroll yourself and get your qualifications right. For limited authority to teach, we found that there were about 1,000 teachers who have been teaching for last 9 years without any qualification upgrade. And these were the teachers who were being pulled out by the Fiji Teachers Registration Board in terms of non-compliance to the Act. We also found that there were teachers who were teaching in the classroom without a valid teacher registration certificate. Then the notification was sent out. A number of teachers then they registered, but unfortunately about 17 teachers decided not to register. So I think the Fiji Teachers Registration Board had to terminate the teacher registration certificate. It's not the ministry, it's the professional body that guides the teachers. Ministry can only employ teachers who have got a certificate issued by the Fiji Teachers Registration Board, because they are the authority who accredits a teacher and decides to issue the teacher registration certificates. And I hope that makes it clear. And I encourage each one of you to please read the Fiji Teachers Registration Act. It's online. You can download that. It's a very important piece of information for you. I also wish to share with you that the recruitment drive, I think the appointment of head of schools has closed. We have come up with a system that we will be recruiting teachers in the month of April every year, and we'll be creating a pool of teachers every year. And this will be done through a written test as well as through interview. A pool will be created, so if a school needs a teacher, we'll be able to get the teacher out of the pool and post the teacher to that school. After 1 year, then that pool dissolves. So some of you may have found a job, but the others did not. But we have to give equal opportunity to everyone else. So again, we'll open up the interview process. Again, the name goes into the pool, and that's how we will be doing the posting, right? And that will make things much easier for everybody. And it's an open process, and we will be definitely talking more about that at a later stage. For the reopening of schools, I want to say to you that it's quite impressive. Your protocols are all in place, and you've been enforcing the protocol, and please keep doing that. It's extremely important that we continue to do that. I would like to mention that we have introduced the Teachers Talanoa platform, and we are encouraging all teachers to start using Teachers Talanoa platform. Our messages are on the Teachers Talanoa platform, and you need to sign up on that one so that you can get all the information all the time. And that would be one place that you can go. It's a go-to place for the information that you need. Ministry's website, we have got a learning hub where you can access the resources that you need. If you recall, just after, or you can say when the school closed for 2 weeks, during that time, Ministry prepared revision classes for years 12 and 13. And there were a number of topics chosen by the test team where they identified that in the past that students were not doing very well in those subjects. And we selected 3 subjects, that was English, Maths, and Physics. Now that information is already on the Learning Hub. And if students want it, you can encourage them that they can also download and use that information and prepare for the exams. Right, so these are some of the places where you can get your resources. And I want to thank the media. Thank you very much.
Just to appreciate the effort which you have been putting in terms of creating a safe environment for you and the students. Can we have a round of